https://discord.gg/flat-earth.
Welcome to 24/7 Flat Earth Discord channel. Be sure to go to VC Check and 1 to get your VC verification tags to get involved in the conversation about our Earth. Be sure to bring your verifiable Earth curvature evidence, though.
Enemy spotted.
Brenda.
Let's get to for the some people that have been in here. We already know who Brenda is, a long-standing anti-flat Earth proponent. So she will say that she's going to debate flat Earth. If I'm not mistaken, not unless you change your mind. Are you still with flat Earth and globe Earth arguments?
Number one, let me know if there's feedback from my mic.
No.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, I'm a glober. Yes, I
Sir, please mute your mic as I asked before, or you'll be muted. All right. And a lot of people may or may not know who Brenda is, but this is the person who has been debating flat Earth for some time now. So,
Brenda, welcome, Brenda.
Some people know who you are, by the way.
Yeah, I would expect
long time no see.
All right, so the case is here, and we asked everybody this question: is there any scientific evidence for the Earth being a globe?
do you have evidence for flatness?
Yeah, but we're asking the questions here, and also giving it to the room. So if maybe you don't want to answer it, perhaps somebody else does, because this room is continuously having it's like a revolving door. We're getting people coming in, moving out, but we do want to ask people if they have evidence for it.
Oh yeah, sure. Ships go over the horizon. That's evidence for curvature.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Go ahead and try to justify it for everybody here. Why ships going over the curve is evidence of globe.
Well, if the Earth was flat, ships would not disappear over the horizon.
Yeah, but we're asking you if you can give us evidence of the Earth being a globe, not if it's flat, if it's a globe. So if it is a globe, how does that justify the Earth being a globe?
I said curvature, number one. I said if the Earth was flat,
we're not looking at the Earth being flat, Brenda. We're looking at if it's a globe.
Yes, I know. This part of just wait for me to complete.
Let him cook.
If the Earth was flat, right, then ships would not be obstructed by the horizon. Ships are obstructed by the horizon, so the Earth can't be flat. So that's evidence in favor of curvature.
He's funny. He sounds funny.
So the evidence that you have right now is that ships are being obstructed by the Earth's curvature, right?
Ships are being obstructed, right? The hypothesis.
Ossified. That's your last warning. You're going to be sitting on red mute for a while. It's up to you. You don't need to be doing that. Go ahead.
The observation is obstruction. The hypothesis is that the obstruction is caused by the curvature of the Earth. And then we make additional observations based on that to validate our hypothesis.
You can't run a shape through the scientific method, Brenda.
Why not?
Well, it's not science. You can't. But what is question? You don't go to the shoe store to measure your foot and say we're going to conduct scientific experiment. You go over there to get a measurement of how big your foot is, and then they give you a shoe the size that you need.
Doesn't science determine causes
and effect, relationships?
Yeah.
You got to finish. You got to finish that,
Brenda.
You haven't identified the curve.
To use science to prove a geometric shape, it's like wearing safety shoes at a drag show.
It's not to prove a geometric shape. It's not to prove a geometric shape. It's to prove the relationship, the shape.
You're begging the question with your hypothesis. You're begging the question with your hypothesis.
No, that's not begging the question.
You cannot assume the curve exists already. That's the thing you're trying to prove.
No, that's the hypothesis.
So it cannot be your independent variable.
It's not.
First of all,
that's what you said. It's caused by the curvature of the Earth. That would be your independent variable.
That's a hypothesis. That's a valid hypothesis.
How is it
Right, so the
valid?
curvature would be your independent variable, which is the thing you're trying to prove. So why are you trying to prove it if it already exists?
No, the observation is obstruction, right?
Yeah.
I hypothesize that that obstruction is due to the curvature. The Earth
Okay.
is
But you're gonna have
physically.
to.
What curvature?
Okay, so wait a
What
minute.
curvature?
All the constituent parts of the scientific method are going to have to be used here. You can't just use half of them and then say, "Thus saith you." Now the Earth is a globe because you just said you used a hypothesis. You're going to have to run a hypothesis test
Oh, okay.
or use all the constituent parts of the scientific method. You already,
Here.
Huey and
I can
Nathan
do
will
that.
run you through this every day. You should know this by heart.
No, I do know it. So
All right. So how
my
would you do it?
variable is my height above the surface.
Variable.
Yes, I vary my height above the surface, and the amount of
So height causes obstruction. Height causes obstruction.
No, the curvature of the Earth causes the obstruction. The height is
Yeah.
Oh,
variable.
then it can't be height. Then it has to be curvature.
Yeah, it has to
You
be
can't have
curvature that
one.
you manipulate.
It's got to be one or the other.
That has
That
to
would
be
be
the thing
begging
you're.
the question. That would be
No,
begging the question, and I don't
no.
want to do that.
That's what you're trying to manipulate in order for you to know you're going to vary and manipulate the thing that's causing the effect. The effect that you see is curvature from the Earth obstructing. So you have to vary and manipulate that thing that is causing that to
Yeah.
see if it is or is not the case.
Yeah,
So you
I
can't.
vary.
Yeah,
I vary my height above the surface.
that's not causing the obstruction. Curvature is.
Yes, it's the relationship between the observer and the horizon and the
Well,
distant object.
yeah, we know it's a relationship, but that's not the cause of the effect. The cause of the effect is the curvature obstructing your view,
Right,
not the
and the way
person's.
right, and the
Yeah.
way you vary that is by changing your
Right.
altitude, changing your height.
So then, just like Timbo said, it's your height. It's not curvature. It's your height that you vary and manipulate. So that's what causes
That's right.
curvature. So you're saying now it's height, it's elevation. That's what's the cause of
causal
curvature.
relation. The causal relation is the function of the observer's height, the amount of curvature, the distance to the object.
What curvature?
So the
curvature?
the higher you are, the more curvature.
Yeah.
The higher you
No.
are, the less. The higher you
Oh,
are,
the less.
the
That's
higher
less.
you. The higher you
Yes.
are, the less obstruction there is. That's the function. It's a mathematical function.
Oh. I see.
All right. So what mathematical function are you talking about? 'Cause,
8
I
inches
mean,
per mile. 8 inches per mile.
all
8
right, so
inches
you-
per mile. Yeah.
So here's the thing, though, man. People don't say this, but you do, and so you say that's correct to use as far as the parabola goes, and you can use that
It's
in accordance to your this scientific method that you're actually talking about. You're running this curvature through. So the what is question, not a how I question, because we're actually not observing a naturally occurring phenomena. That's not the Earth's shape is not a naturally occurring phenomena.
not?
It's a shape. No, it's not.
Yeah. How do you
Yeah.
know
No, it's
that?
not. Because
know it's not naturally occurring?
is it something that's occurring in nature or is it just
Yes.
is? It
Yes,
just is.
No, it's a part of nature. Absolutely. The Earth is not part of nature.
All right.
What are you
So
talking about?
as far as you're talking about nature, is it a phenomena? It's curvature is not a phenomena. It's a consequent of something. It's not a phenomena. It's the consequent. So if you're saying that a geometric shape is a phenomena, then everything else would follow that every shape is a phenomena and it's not a consequent of the
That's
geometric.
not my claim. That's not my claim.
Yeah, that's what you're implying. You're saying that
The
it's
phenomenon. I'll tell you what my phenomenon is. My
What?
phenomenon is obstruction due to
I
curvature.
know that. So it's not curvature then.
Huh?
It can't be curvature because that's what you said.
It's obstruction caused by curvature and the relationship
So-
between the observer and the thing observed.
So because the geometric shape is curving, it is the curvature that's obstructing, and that is your phenomena,
Yeah.
which I told you is
Oh.
not. It's not the naturally occurring phenomena. A shape is not a it's a consequent
Shapes
of
are
the thing.
absolutely naturally occurring.
Phenomena?
Does a tree have a shape?
No. What fucking
Trees
shape
don't
does a
have
tree?
shapes.
Okay,
A
what
tree
shape
is
is a
a
heart?
tree.
Wait, Gabby. What shape is a heart?
Yeah.
What shape is a rock?
Whatever shape it happens to have.
Well, what shape is that? You can't
depends.
listen,
Some are
man.
flat, some are flat, some are round, some are squarish, some
Okay,
are
wait a minute.
pyramidal.
Squarish is not a shape. Okay, you're talking about ideal geometry, which in the case of
I'm not
nature,
talking about you are. I'm not. I'm not talking
yeah,
about ideal geometry.
you're trying to put everything into shapes like that. And in the case of the globe, right? We're talking about geometric shape because they say that you're standing on an oblate spheroid, and you're saying that the shape of the Earth is a naturally occurring phenomena. And I
Yes.
told you it's not a naturally occurring phenomena.
Is it man-made? Is it
It's
man-made?
not man-made, but it's not a
Then
natural. Listen
if
to me.
it's not man-made, then it's natural.
How is it occurring? How is it a naturally occurring phenomena?
Because it's not man-made.
Okay, so is it your dependent? Is it your dependent variable then, or your independent variable?
My independent variable is my altitude above the surface of the Earth.
So that's what's causing obstruction, just your altitude.
No, it's
else.
the relation. It's again,
No,
it's
no,
the
no, no,
function.
no,
It's
no.
the
It's
function.
either it's this or that. That's the way this goes. It's this or that. It's either the curvature of the Earth or it's your height, your altitude. What is it?
No,
What's causing the obstruction?
Pick one.
the function between me and the curvature and
you
the
can't
object.
do that. No,
Yes, I
because the
can.
researcher,
Yes, I
the
can.
researcher, the researcher has to vary and manipulate the thing that's either the cause of the effect. If you're
That's
putting
right.
it to the scientific method, we're gonna see how far it goes because right now you haven't demonstrated. You're saying it's a.
Oh,
I can use. It's not a conjunction of things. It's either this or that. So it's either.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
I could vary the height of the object that I'm observing, and it would change.
Let me put it. Let me put an analogy. Hold on, get relax, bro. If I'm putting it to you like in the formulation of a scientific method, then I would say something like, okay, I know that water boils. I want to find out why. I can add certain elements to see if if my hypothesis is going to be true. So I'm going to start to vary and manipulate different elements, right? I put some leaves there. I got some rocks under there. Nothing works. It doesn't seem to be triggering it. I put ice under there. Nothing's making that water boil. Well, guess what? Once I actually start a fire, I see that something happens to the water and it starts to boil. So then I have conducted a vary and manipulated the independent variable, which were the items that I've been using. So it can't be the thing that's in question that you're saying right now, as far as curvature goes, because that's the thing that you're trying to prove. It is the consequent of the shape. It is not something naturally occurring that you're trying to deduce whether or not it is or is not the thing that's causing the effect, bro.
I think the Earth is naturally occurring, and the
all right. So what is causing the obstruction as far as the scientific method goes? What is causing
my hypothesis?
Yeah. Well, what is it? What constituent part is it? The curvature. What is it? What part is it?
My hypothesis is that there is a relationship that can be described mathematically between the observer and the distant object on the surface of the Earth that describes how much will be hidden and how much will be visible for a given observer height. So I vary the height of the observer. I could also vary the distance, right, to the object or the height of the object above the surface of the Earth.
But you didn't test
any one of those.
You didn't test. You did not test. You did not test your independent variable, which was in question still, even right now, which is the curvature. You're trying to. Yeah, you can't use science to figure this out. It's a what is question. No, you can't. No, you cannot. So when I'm asking you, because because if you listen, Brenda, when you're trying to vary and manipulate the independent variable, you're trying to find out the cause of the effect. So if the effect is I cannot see the bottom of the boat, right? Let's stick to the effect only. You can't see the bottom of the boat. So you want to know why you can't see the bottom of the boat. And you're saying the curvature is blocking your view. It's obstructing, right? So now it's either this or that. It's either your height off the ground, your elevation that's causing the obstruction, which you were starting to say, or it's a curvature that's blocking your view. So height or curvature, you got to pick one of those. It's not a relationship. So once you find out what it is that's causing that, you're gonna then run it through the test. Okay, let's see if we can vary the height of where the ship is, right? Because you're gonna have to find out the distance and then vary and manipulate if it's curvature. How can you vary and manipulate a shape, man? It is just what it is. So if it was an oblate spheroid, you can't vary and manipulate that. It's the consequent of the shape being what it is. No.
So the effect is obstruction. the effect is caused by a mathematical geometric relation.
No,
between the
no, it's caused
observer.
by curvature. It's not mathematical. It is an
No,
obstruction. By
the
definition,
obstruction-
it is something that's obstructing your view. So you're gonna go to the thing.
No, that's not true. That's not
Dude,
true. If
Okay,
the
so
object
is the
is,
curvature not causing the obstruction? Yes or no?
if the object I'm looking at is close enough, there's no obstruction.
So what is causing the obstruction?
You need to.
The relation between the observer and the object in relation to the surface
So it's
of the
not
Earth.
curvature. It's not curvature then. It's just a relationship between the observer and the object that's called, which is what we're
predicated.
we would say that.
Predicated,
We would say that.
It's predicated to be on a sphere.
Okay.
You need to justify that.
That's what I'm saying. That's the underlying premise, isn't it? So you're gonna use the underlying premise, which you can't. Okay, so this is the kind of like sleight of hand you're doing. Your underlying premise is not what you're talking about. You say no, we already know it's a globe.
It's part of
We're
my
just-
hypothesis.
No, it's not.
Part of it. Yes, it is.
No, it's not. When
Yes, it is.
when in the hypothesis did you prove that that's what the thing that's causing obstruction?
no,
Because
it's the
you
height-
said
you don't
you said it's
prove
the height of the
hypothesis.
you said it's the height of the observer. That's what you were saying. You're very into
No, that's not
manipulating
what
the
I
height.
said. I said it's
Bullshit,
the relation.
dude.
It's the relation. It's the relation between the observer and the object on a spherical object.
Yeah, where's curvature at? You didn't use curvature there.
The
It's
spher-
just a
the
relationship between
spherical
the
object.
observer.
The hypothesis. Number one, I can look up Richard Feynman, and he says that your hypothesis can be anything. Anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
so
what
my
it- what-
hypothesis.
you
my
can't listen. No,
hypothesis-
but your sleight of hand always happens when you try to get the person who's thinking about this to think outside of what science is. Your definition of science is you can just use it on anything, and you can't use it on a shape, bro.
Yeah, you can. Yes, you can.
No,
Why
you
not?
fucking can't. A shape is just what it is. How the fuck are you gonna
How
run
do
a
I
shape to
know?
a scientific method, bro? How are you gonna run it to the scientific
test
method?
it by making repeated observations.
Any natural
cutting out.
phenomenon,
You're cutting out.
not
doesn't-
really anything.
Everything is a natural.
You cut out.
phenomenon.
What did you say?
No, shapes are not natural.
Wait, Brenda, what did you say?
I said everything is a natural phenomenon.
Nah, that's fucked up. You fucked up right there. No,
well,
it's
you
not.
can't. You're not the arbitrator of what is and isn't.
I know the scientific method is. Not
No, it
you or
isn't.
me. Oh, bullshit,
Internet
dude.
No, it isn't.
You're not gonna
is-
argue what the scientific method. It's just
You
a
can-
well established method that everyone can use to understand the cause of an effect by doing a hypothesis test, understanding what the dependent variable should be and the independent variable.
Well,
When
I've
you
told you
start,
what those are.
you
I've
can't
told you
do it
what
with
those
the
are.
fucking shape. There's no
Yes,
way
I
you can do it with the
can.
shape because the
I
shape
just
has a
told you.
consequence, which it is. It just
Yeah.
is. So, like, if you say, yeah. So if we agree, both of us, that a sphere is a sphere, a cube is a cube, a pyramid is a pyramid, that is a consequent of it being that particular shape. So once we start working with these things, right, then we already know we're working within a framework of a parameter that these shapes are, like the oblate spheroid that everybody says we're standing on, right? So you can't therefore use it in a scientific hypothesis, because how are you going to then say, listen,
Richard Feynman says my hypothesis can be anything.
yeah, but how are you going to vary and manipulate the shape of something?
I
That's
don't.
stupid.
Very manipulate my height. That's what I do.
Yeah, but you're begging the question within the framework.
That's not
You're
begging,
begging the question.
question.
Bullshit, because you're already stating that you're working with on top of a sphere.
Yeah, that's the hypothesis. That's
No,
the
it's
hypothesis.
not. No, it's not. You did
Yes,
not
it
use
is.
it. You did not even use it in your example. You said
Yes, I did.
You said it was a relationship between the observer's elevation and the object. That's
And
what you
on
didn't
a
use it.
sphere. On a sphere.
Nuh-uh. That's your addendum. It
On
wasn't
a
what you
sphere.
stated. It was your addendum. It was not what
On
you
a
stated.
sphere.
That's
If
your
we're on
addendum.
if we're on a
What sphere?
if we're on a
When did you prove? When did you prove your?
You lost, Brenda.
When did you prove
don't-
you're on a sphere? When
Yeah.
did you prove you're on a
That's my
sphere?
hypothesis.
Nah, bullshit, dude. You're already you're
That's about
presupposing.
bottom up abstraction.
Yeah, you're
So you can't
presupposing this shit. You're
Brenda,
begging the
give up.
you're begging the question in this
Not what
scientific.
begging you don't know what begging the
Oh
question means.
bullshit! I do fucking know what begging.
What does
What
it
you're
mean?
doing?
What does it mean? Give me
it
the
means
formal
that
definition of begging the
listen,
question.
Listen, what you're doing
Give
right
me
now,
the
you're
formal definition of begging the
fucking
question.
Brenda Weasel ass motherfucker. Look,
You're
listen,
putting
what you're
your
doing right
premise
now,
in the conclusion.
you're using
Define begging the question.
Listen, you're
That's not
using
begging the
that.
question.
You're using that already formulated within your hypothesis test. It's already baked in. You can't do that. That's
Right.
the thing.
It's my hypothesis.
You're trying to prove the thing that's in question. So you're begging the fucking question. What the fuck do you mean?
I can't. You can't prove your hypothesis. Science doesn't prove things.
What do you want to do?
Now
What do
science
you
doesn't
want
prove
to
it.
do with
You
this?
just
What
undermine. You just hang on, get.
me?
You just
Miggy, it's me.
undermined. You just undermined everything you
No,
just said.
no, I
You
didn't.
just undermined it.
No, I didn't. What I would get is evidence that would favor my hypothesis.
Favor my hypothesis? What are you talking about?
It increases the probability that my hypothesis is true. You
And
can
so
never
I
get
thought your
to
hypothesis. I thought your hypothesis was trying to determine the cause of bottom-up obstruction.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with. Yeah. What
my
the heck?
my hypothesis again is that there is a relation between the observer and the thing being observed when it's on a sphere, right? There's a mathematical relationship. 8 inches per mile squared is a good first
What
approximation.
sphere? What sphere?
The Earth.
Can I ask
You
a
haven't
question?
demonstrated that to be true yet.
That's the very definition of begging a question. That's
No,
the
it
very
isn't.
definition. Yes, it is. It fucking is.
Because I
There's no
don't,
way.
I don't make a deductive inference. I make an inductive one, and I falsify my hypothesis.
You did not
You
fucking
can't verify
falsify
it. Science can never prove deductively that a hypothesis is true. That can't be done.
Can I ask a question? Miggy, you know that people will come inside and ask for the globe and why we think that is flat. This is Brenda, Miggy.
I don't think the globe is
I know
flat.
she is.
I know, Miggy. Isn't this spending time on the best anti-flat earther in the world?
I would say.
Goddamn right I am. You're goddamn right I am.
I would say one of them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put her in the top tier, but she's up there.
Yeah,
with
but
them.
if you're going to give it to me, I'm going to take it.
Yeah,
buddy.
well, no, I'm
Yeah.
saying you're probably
Miggy.
one of the top tier ones that these guys
Miggy.
don't know about you, but we do. But go ahead. Somebody's asking
Miggy.
me a question.
Miggy, say, thank God space-time doesn't have a shape.
Actually, space-time does have a shape.
The only phenomena. The only.
No. Wait. So for the people in the back row who don't know who Brenda is, but like asking about these logical, because listen, you can go look these up, okay? So don't hang around and say,
Right.
no, define it. I know what the fuck begging the question means. I've been
What does it
studying these
mean?
logical.
What
Oh
does it
my
mean?
God! Will you let me finish the end of what I'm saying, Brenda? I already know you're anti-flat earther. You got those flowers, so just chill. All right, check this out. I'm gonna put it in the text chat for everybody. Now, once you have a grip
What's the name
on
of that?
this,
Can you show me where that is? I haven't seen the text chat.
go
Where is
to
it?
go to the top of where we're talking. There's a little chat bubble where it says open chat. Just go there.
On the right, on top
It's
right.
right above where the person on top is Wave Mixer. Right above him, there's a chat bubble, and then you see it.
Your hypothesis reduces to this, Brenda, right? If globe, then globe.
No,
Alright,
that's not my hypothesis
so-
at
Yes,
all.
it does. For fuck's sake, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
No,
it
it
is.
isn't. I
Fuck,
told
it
you what my
isn't.
hypothesis
The fuck
is.
it isn't. Hey, hang on. Let me re-beg in the question for the guys in the back row, right, that are chanting behind Brenda. You just wait. A begging the question is any form. Brenda, let me fucking read this thing. Begging the question, any form.
That wasn't me.
God
honey.
damn.
That wasn't me.
You're gonna
All
be
right.
behind me or not? Listen to me. If you're gonna be behind me or around me, fucking let me know.
Who's that?
Jesus Christ.
Vesicles, you
I don't know.
fucking hot micing, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, anyway, begging the question, any form of argument where the conclusion is assumed in one of the premises. Many of the people use this phrase, begging the question, incorrectly when they use it to mean prompts one to ask the question. That is not the correct usage. Begging the question is a form of circular reasoning, which is what was stated because it was baked in your fucking premise that the earth is a globe.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what
that's my
begging the question
hypothesis.
is.
My hypothesis is that there's on a sphere, there is a relation between the observer and the thing being observed that
No
follows
shit.
a particular rule. And
But
if I
it's
change
not-
the variables, if I change the variables in that mathematical rule, then I will change my
Math
observation.
isn't science. Math isn't science. Math isn't fucking science, and you know it. You've been told this by Nathan, by QE, by everybody down the line. Math is not fucking science. You already know this.
Language. Math is the language that science to describe the world.
It's a language. You said it correctly. It's a language, but it's not the language of science. Science uses many.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is.
You can use many forms, and you don't even have to use math in it.
No, you don't even have to, but you certainly can. Why can't I?
Well, that's what I'm saying. But the thing is, you're applying it here in this specific example as the scientific method, and you can't run shape through a scientific method. It's already baked in the. You're saying that the shape of the Earth, because the premise is we're standing on a globe, all you got to do is very manipulate the height of an observer, and then that will determine whether or not they can see the ship in the far distance. Due to the fact that yeah, I know that. What's what you're saying. I'm pointing it out to the audience so they can understand that a fucking shape isn't a how and why question. You're not looking to find the cause of the effect. You're trying to figure out the shape of something. So that's not a how why question that you're trying to run. You're in a fucking category error right now.
No, I'm saying
correct, Miggy. And this is what I want to point out also. Miggy, yeah, I want to point out also one thing. He was talking about 8 inches per mile squared, and this is a measurement. Yeah, it's a distance.
It's
length,
a function.
Arc curvature. It's arc curvature, yeah? Which is I don't care.
Yeah, it's a mathematical relation.
Listen, Brenda, don't interrupt me. Let me finish, please. So this is something that has to be measured to be established. You don't just invoke it out of the blue.
Why not?
All right,
because you have to measure it. It's
let me get a
curvature.
Let me get Jedi.
Feynman says my
don't fucking quote Feynman, bro. You don't even know fucking hell, bro.
He knows.
Jedi, check this out.
I take him to be an authority.
Fucking wait, Jedi. So we got who in here, Brenda.
Yeah. I take Feynman to be a subject matter expert.
Yeah, I know that. So do we. And you're in the fucking category area.
Yeah, and he says my hypothesis can be anything I want.
Except for when you beg the fucking question.
I'm not begging the question.
Bullshit, dude. It's baked into your hypothesis. All right, let me talk to Jedi real quick. Yes, it fucking is. So let me talk to Jedi real quick. So by the way, she's running the category error, running the shape of the Earth through the scientific method. Go ahead, Brenda. I want you to tell Jedi how you're running it through the scientific method. Check this out, man. You can restate it for everybody new that's jumping in.
Yeah, that's great. I have an observation. That's the first step of the scientific method. Based on my observation, I form a hypothesis. Based on my observation, I form a hypothesis.
Use the example that you're using.
So, what are you observing?
Hang on, please.
What?
We were talking about ships going over the horizon. That was the example.
My observation is that there is obstruction.
So you are begging the question.
Your observation is the horizon.
No, my observation is there's obstruction.
No. First time you said you observed the horizon. You saw the horizon.
My observation is there is obstruction. My hypothesis is that
obstruction. Where is obstruction?
Hold on, Sasha. Let her finish the way Jedi can hear. I know it's wrong.
No, nonsense. This is nonsense. I have observation. Obstruction.
We know.
I know, bro. I know. Just let her finish.
Yeah, my hypothesis is that there is a mathematical relationship that describes the relationship of how much is obstructed of a distant object between the observer and the object and the curvature of the Earth. And if I vary one of the variables in that function, whether it's the observer height or the object's height, then I will change how much is obstructed. That's my hypothesis.
Well, first of all, you're begging the question for obstruction.
It's not begging the question.
Can I finish? Because I'll let you finish. Can I? Thank you. First of all, you are begging the question that is physical obstruction. Things can
that's the hypothesis. A hypothesis doesn't beg.
It does in this instance, being as you are begging the question that is physical obstruction due to Earth curvature. if you were to do this correctly, and I might fucking, let you do it. If you're going to say, I can't see the bottom of this thing because the Earth curve is in the way, then you would have to physically manipulate the Earth curvature, which would be fucking impossible. You have also begged the question, as I pointed out, but now you've jumped to a mathematical formula. I thought we were doing natural science here, cause and effect, the building of a hypothesis, and then a testing of that hypothesis in an experiment. But you're again in another category area because you've jumped to math. The mathematical formula, I would assume, is also begging the question because it's got a radius value with it in the first place.
You're out of line.
Formally, my argument does not beg the question.
Well, have you measured the curvature of the Earth in the first instance? Have you got the direct measurement of drop over distance to give you a radius value?
Well, I just have a formula. The formula is that 8 inches per mile squared, right? And so if I vary the observer and I vary the object, then I vary the amount obstructed.
Okay, so would you then be able to do that with a direct demonstration? For example, if you're 1 foot above the surface of the water,
Sure.
can you demonstrate that that boat will disappear at 1.2 miles away, or start to disappear at 1.2?
One way I could do it would be if I lay down on the ground at sea level. I lay down, I make an observation, and then if I stand up and I make a second observation, the change in the height of the observer will change the amount obstructed.
Well, fuck me, I can do that on a known flat surface and stand up on that flat surface because I've increased my angle of view, see further across that flat surface. That's not proof of anything.
Surface?
Again,
No,
that's exactly what I wanted to say, Jed. The angular resolution. He dismissed it.
That's false. So, on a flat surface, if you are above the surface, everything is visible.
No,
Brenda,
no.
Have you taken into account angular resolution?
No, I'm talking about obstruction.
Yeah,
obstruction is an evaluation.
I'm talking about obstruction. I'm not talking about angular resolution.
Yeah, declaring it an obstruction is your evaluation of the observation.
Yeah, that's my observation. Yeah,
that's your evaluation. That comes later.
I'm allowed to do that. I'm allowed to do that. Yeah.
You're allowed for circular reason?
That's not circular. Where's the circle?
Well, you're evaluating an observation without testing it.
No, I am testing it. I vary the height of the observer.
Well, one thing for sure.
You're not ruling out other things like angular resolution.
Yeah, angular resolution has nothing to do with obstruction.
Hang on a second, because you failed to forget that when we said at the very beginning, can you do scientific, is there any scientific evidence that the Earth is a globe? And you already started to say you can use you're even using the scientific method incorrectly. It doesn't deal with how, why, it deals with the what is question. You're in a category error there. And then you fail to realize that once you started to invoke mathematical constructs, you're in another category error there, because that's not science either.
Category error.
Yeah, you damn right it is.
It is. I'm doing science and I'm using math to do science.
You're not doing science. That's the problem. Do you see that you're not doing science? And then you're saying I'm doing science, and no, you're not. What naturally occurring phenomena is there that you're observing? What is it?
Obstruction.
No. That would mean that you're seeing a shape's consequence, and I've already said that the consequence of a shape is not a naturally occurring phenomenon. It just is. It just is. It's like me and you arguing over a pyramid, saying that it's a naturally occurring phenomenon, when you and I both know that the shape of something, especially ideal shapes, because things in nature don't have ideal shapes, right? They're all mismatched and misformed and doing everything. I'm telling you. So when we're talking about like spheroids and cubes and all that stuff, when we are mentioning these perfect shapes, then we're talking about the consequence of it being that very thing. So it just is.
There are spheroids, cubes. There are spheroids, cubes, and pyramids that occur.
So when we start doing scientific,
salt grains are cubic.
Bro, when we start talking about running the scientific method against this, Either it is or it's the thing in question that we were trying to discover. But if we're saying that it already is the shape that you're saying it's a what is question,
that's
it
my
already,
hypothesis.
bro, it already is an oblate spheroid. You're
No,
not. That's
I
not.
don't know that. I don't know that.
You just said that the curvature, it's a consequent of a shape.
Yes.
Meaning,
yes.
Yeah. So then you're already saying it's
right.
dude.
But I don't.
You need to fucking listen right now,
Listen,
because
I
if you're
don't-
saying curvature
doesn't,
denotes
yeah.
curvature denotes one thing. It denotes that you're already giving it properties, the properties of the consequent of it being that particular shape. Yes or no? That's what curvature means. Or what does curvature mean then?
I don't know that the Earth is curved. That's my
You
hypothesis.
just fucking said.
take the question.
You just fucking said that it's curved, and that's what's obstructing you from.
That's the hypothesis. The hypothesis is that the Earth
Oh
is
my
curved.
God!
Listen to the entire sentence.
No.
I don't know. Let's say I see obstruction.
Yeah.
I don't know that the Earth is curved, but I hypothesize that if we are on a curve, then there exists a relationship, mathematical in nature, between the observer and the thing being observed. Whereas if I change the height of the observer, I change the amount that's obstructed. That's not begging the question.
Okay.
That's not begging
But
now,
you're not doing science.
Miggy,
You're trying to
Miggy,
figure out the measurement of something. And how are you going to figure out the measurement of something when it's already baked into your presupposition? Well,
measurement
I
isn't
think
baked in.
you're
I don't
saying
know
you're basically
beforehand. I could be wrong.
bullshit. Well, yeah, but what's your
And you
best
can't
guess?
call it an obstruction.
Yeah,
Yes, that's what I see is
no.
obstruction.
Well, then what is causing
Miggy,
the obstruction?
I
Hold
don't
on,
know, but
Debbie.
I don't know, but I have a hypothesis.
You fucking said that it was a curvature at the beginning. Now
Yes,
you're
that's the
switching.
hypothesis. The
Yeah,
hypothesis is that the Earth is
I'm gonna tell you
curved.
one thing. Brenda's a high-level sophist, guys. So just if you're gonna continue to have the
Miggy,
argument, get ready. Fucking
I,
hell.
Miggy, I want to tell you something. So now that he established that the horizon is the curvature of the Earth, physical obstruction,
I haven't established that.
yeah, you cannot see through it. So
I haven't established it because I haven't established it. I simply
Brenda,
proposed
listen.
a hypothesis.
Don't interrupt, please. Let me finish and to make my point. So you established now that for a 1 foot observer, yeah, the horizon begins at 1.225 miles. Everything beyond that distance starts to disappear bottom up.
That's a straw man. I did not say that. That is not my hypothesis.
You invoked 8 inches per mile squared.
I did not say anything. I did not say anything about horizon.
You said the curvature is 18 inches per mile squared drop.
8,
yeah?
not 18. 8, not 18.
8.
We didn't hear anything you said.
8 inches per mile squared.
I never said the word horizon.
Okay, forget the horizon, yes. But the Earth's curvature overall, yeah, generally, is 8 inches per mile squared. Correct?
Yeah, that's a good first approximation, yes.
Yeah,
so you're working off of that knowledge, that 8 inches per mile squared.
Now, if an observer is 1 foot high from the sea level, the horizon, the curvature begins at 1.225 miles away, according to that curvature.
You're straw manning me. That's not my hypothesis. My hypothesis has to do with obstruction.
No. I mean, this is what you established.
No, I haven't. I haven't said anything.
Yeah, you invoked 8 inches per mile squared.
Absolutely.
When you do the math, yeah, like for someone laying down on his belly at the beach, and he raises his head, and his eyes are like 30 centimeters above the water, 1 foot, yeah. The horizon line will be approximately 1.225 miles far away in the distance.
I don't
Maybe 1.3 miles.
Yeah, my hypothesis doesn't mention the horizon at all.
It's not a fucking hypothesis.
I
Sure
know.
If then,
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's not horizon. I mean, beyond that distance, there is that curvature, and things that sail away beyond that curvature starts to disappear in his eyesight.
Yeah, my
in the observer's eyesight. That's
hypothesis.
not the horizon. Yeah. I know it's not the horizon. The horizon is much further away, but the curvature, you know. So the boat will start to disappear from the bottom up when he goes beyond 1.5 miles away.
That's not my hypothesis. I've never said
Okay.
anything about 1.5.
When is the boat start to disappear from the bottom up? At what distance?
It's going to depend on my height above the earth.
1 foot from sea level.
Yeah. What? That's
What
not
is
my
it?
hypothesis.
For an observer which is tall, 1 foot from the sea level.
I haven't made any numerical predictions.
Yes,
I
you did.
Can you
Yes, you
do it
did.
for
Yes,
me
you
and
fucking
you?
did. Bullshit.
You said you like mathematics because it's the language of science. So obviously you can do it now.
Obviously,
that we are
Hold
talking.
on. Wait, Gabby. Wait. You did invoke 8 inches per mile squared. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not you, Gabby. Relax, brother.
Good.
I'm talking to Brenda. Brenda, did you invoke 8 inches per mile squared?
Yes.
So then that's fucking math. You did involve numbers with it. So now, over what? Over what? What is 8 inches per mile squared? What does that denote? You tell everybody
That
here
shows
what that
the
means.
amount of drop. That shows the amount of drop from horizontal.
Bam! That's a fucking curve. Any way you slice it.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Good.
Okay, then. So what you're doing is already begging the fucking question in the
that's not begging
beginning.
the question.
You're bullshit.
Your-
What do you
your
mean 8 inches per mile
hypothesis-
squared?
A
8 inches.
hypothesis is an if-then clause.
Now, Brenda, listen, forget that.
That's what a hypothesis is. It's an if-then.
Brenda, are you American? Are you U.S. citizen?
Yes.
No, it's
Yes.
no, it's
Okay, nice.
I live
So,
in the great
USA have nuclear submarines, and these nuclear submarines, they have a periscope, which comes on top of the surface of the water, out of the surface of the water, at about 2 or 3 feet high, and they are using a infrared laser to point a target, at 150 kilometers far away, and they shoot a missile, and that missile will go straight into that laser dot. So how can they point a target on the sea, on the ocean, like a ship, enemy ship, which is 150 kilometers away when the periscope...
Brother, we're gonna go to another point. Let's just put a pin on that point. Let's put a pin. We're not gonna answer that fucking. No, we're not gonna get into that shit. No, that's a swing. Fuck that. No. We're gonna go. I don't want to hear about that shit, dude. That's another point. That is another point. Yeah, because
the planes, the spotting planes can paint the target.
Dude.
They can illuminate the target so that it finds it.
Fuck, dude, we don't want to talk about that. We want to go back to your idea. Because that shit does irrelevant to you thinking that the scientific method can be run on shapes, man. And then on top of that shit, you said that you didn't talk about any math. I said fucking bullshit. I called you out on it. I said you said 8 inches.
Relationship. It's
you
not
said
numbers.
You said 8 inches per mile squared, and it came straight from you saying that you are already saying that the Earth is dropping over the distance, curving at 8 inches per mile squared. What do you think shape that is?
That's a parabola, but
I know.
It's close enough to the surface of the Earth for most distances that we're
But
going to
what
use.
is that indicating? When you use what are you saying about what you're standing on? It is a what?
It is a evidence for the Earth being curved.
And then that means what else? Because you got to keep going. It's
Means
curved
that
and what?
it means that it's evidence, and we can also falsify the flat Earth.
No, you need to
Because if
stop
the Earth is
where the
flat,
thing that I'm asking, the thing that I was asking you is, did you invoke math or at the very beginning?
we can,
Beg the
because we
question.
can
Yes, you did.
falsify.
You
We can
said 8-inch.
falsify.
You're
We can
using
falsify the null.
you're using the thing that you're in the premise that you're trying to prove. That is the definition of fucking begging the question. It's circular
No.
reasoning. Yes, it fucking is. And
I'm trying
plus,
to prove. I'm trying to show that there is obstruction due to curvature.
that's what the fuck I'm
Yeah.
saying. How can you
This
beg the
doesn't-
question within the
That's not begging the
hypothesis?
question. That's not begging
Yes,
the
it fucking
question.
is.
And I get
It is.
evidence.
It is.
I get
Hold on.
evidence in favor of the Earth of obstruction being due
Sorry.
that I observe being due to curvature. That's
Go,
evidence
Jedi.
for it.
Within this, you must prove all your premises within the first instance. So that little R that you've got to base your calculations on, you must have proved that
I
within
don't
the
have a
first instance.
hypothesis about R. I don't have a hypothesis about R.
But that's where you got your 8 inches per mile squared from, and then you
No,
started.
no,
Hold on, Brendan.
no, I don't.
Excuse me. Yes, you did. That's the
No,
math.
I don't. No, I don't.
So you're just going to hand wave this away, talk through me, and not listen. Is that what you're
Well,
going to do?
because you're straw manning me, because 8 inches per mile squared is from horizontal perpendicular to my vertical at where I'm at. There's no R in there.
What on earth are you talking about?
8 inches per mile squared is the drop from the horizontal line. Is the drop from the horizontal line at my feet that.
What drop?
Drop from that horizontal line down to the surface of the Earth. That's what 8 inches per mile squared is.
I'll placate you. So then will you invoke standing at altitude above that curved surface?
I'm sorry, I don't know. What?
Will you, like you said, you stand up, so you're invoking standing above that curved surface, 1 foot, 3 foot, 6 foot, yes?
Yeah, most people are about 6 feet tall. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So you will then invoke 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, yes?
No, that would be for a 1 foot observer. I'm 6 foot.
Oh my goodness me, that's the calculation. 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. I didn't say 1 foot. Listen.
Yeah, I didn't invoke that at all. All I invoked was a mathematical relationship between the observer, and the object.
Improved. Hold tight, people, please. It's hard enough to talk to this person without her going through everything that I say, so she doesn't listen to what I say, so we can reach an agreement and move on. So, standing at altitude above this curved surface, you're going to invoke another mathematical formula, aren't you? Like you said earlier.
I said there is a mathematical relationship.
What is that mathematical relationship?
That as you increase in altitude, you will increase the amount of or reduce the amount obstructed by an object that is distant from you on the surface of the Earth.
Awesome stuff. So it's like you've never seen the black swan before.
Well, the black swan is logically fallacious.
But that invokes a curved surface, you standing at altitude, and the obstruction that you're trying to assume is in the way.
Yeah, but I'm not making that argument. I'm making a different one. So bringing up the black swan is a non sequitur.
Well, we don't observe any obstruction.
Oh, I do all the time. You all do.
Well, we don't observe any obstruction, and I can post you another image where the horizon is beyond the base of several wind farms at a distance of safely 12 miles from a 3-foot observer.
Well, yeah,
we don't observe your obstruction there.
Yeah, we do. We see obstruction.
No,
yes, you do, because you don't see the base. You don't see the base of those pylons. Those platforms are on.
Let me post it again.
You're claiming it's actual obstruction.
You do not.
FE Jedi made.
Let me say this.
FE Jedi made it clear earlier, right, that you assume it's actual obstruction. It's just an apparent obstruction. It looks like obstruction. right? Let's go back to that.
Assumptions do not beg the question.
You are assuming a curved Earth.
Yeah, that's my hypothesis.
Okay, so when I give you the image of the bottom of these wind farms where the obstruction should be before the wind farms, the horizon is beyond the wind farms.
I'm not talking about the horizon. I'm talking about obstruction. And in
Well,
the
we don't
black,
see that then.
let me
because
finish
that
my
would be the
sentence.
point.
Let
No,
me finish.
because
Let me
that would be
finish
the
my sentence.
no, because you're talking shit. You
No,
are
let me
literally
finish my
talking shit.
sentence.
You're
Come
talking shit
on.
though.
No, but come
No,
on. It doesn't matter.
no,
You're talking.
no, I'm not. So in my observation that I've posted with the two wind farms, your physical geometric obstruction is beyond the limitations of your calculations based on 8 inches per mile squared and invoking the height, which then invokes a mathematical formula of 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. You are begging the question in the first instance, my friend, because you have just brought a mathematical formula that you have not directly measured. You have made an assumption that if you were to stand on above that surface, that it would cause obstruction. It's like you've never seen the black swan before, or the image that I've posted in the live stream of the horizon is 12 miles away, which would be the top of the Sagatar if it was a curved surface. You fucking idiot.
Diffraction is also an obstruction.
So no, it isn't. So my
yes, the light interferes with itself. It obstructs itself. Hello.
Excuse me. So my my hypothesis says nothing about horizons. It talks
What are you
only about,
manipulating? What's your independent variable?
it only talks about obstruction. And in the black swan image, you cannot see the base of the pylons of the platforms. They are still obstructed
By waves. You can still see the 6-foot plateau between the two rigs where seals like to sit
There's
on.
a boat
So
right
what's
up
your
next to
independent
them, and you
variable?
can't see
Brenda,
that. There's a buoy. There's a buoy next to them, and you can't see it.
Brenda, what's your independent variable? Again,
Where's
show
the
me that
buoy?
piece of fucking
There's a
variable.
buoy tied. There's a buoy tied up to one of them. Where is it?
What was your independent variable?
Buoy tied up next to one of the platforms.
What was your independent variable?
No, answer the question. There's a buoy.
What was your independent variable within your hypothesis where you assumed obstruction?
I'm saying that there exists a relationship between the observer and the thing being observed on a sphere, and that as you vary the observer's height or altitude, you will change the amount being obstructed. I'm not making a numerical prediction. I'm making a qualitative prediction.
What was your observed phenomena?
Obstruction.
Obstruction of what?
Just obstruction. Something is
Of
obstructed.
what?
There's
Of what?
something. There's something in the way.
Where?
That's my observation.
Where?
There's many observations where there is something in the way.
Show me one.
Yeah.
What, like a hill where I can't see behind a fucking tree? What are you talking about?
Now, typically ships over the horizon, but it could be other things. It could be other objects.
Horizon. So you have now invoked horizon, which you've been saying for the last 5 minutes. You haven't fucking invoked. You lying little piece of shit.
That's right. I have not. I've still not invoked it.
You just did. Boats go over the horizon. You lying piece of shit.
Yeah, but that's obstruction. My hypothesis has to do with obstruction.
Then. So it is the horizon then. Boats go over the horizon.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I don't know.
Necessarily. You just said boats go over the horizon, so not the horizon or the horizon. What's the fucking horizon?
I see obstruction.
Horizon, you stupid fucking bitch.
I see obstruction.
You said boats go over the what?
It seems like they go over the horizon, yes.
Oh, so
yeah, geometric horizon.
The geometric horizon?
No, I didn't say anything about that.
So
then what are they going over?
Don't know.
My goodness.
Yeah, now you're just dishonest.
My hypothesis, I don't know because I have my hypothesis. Then I have to do experiments to test my hypothesis.
They're not going over a mirage, are they? Because what if there's a mirage? Can they go over a mirage? No, you're invoking curvature.
I'm not talking about mirage or refraction. I'm talking about obstruction.
You're talking about curvature, which would be the obstruction.
Yeah, that's the hypothesis.
Yeah, your wig fell off.
The hypothesis. Right, is
talk to liars. Can't talk to liars. You've been caught out in your own fucking lie.
Unmute Brenda.
Why, she's lying. I never said horizon. I'm not invoking horizon. Ships go over the horizon. What the fuck?
You guys have not experienced Brenda in a debate, so she's usually doing this in debates. Says something and then lies about it the next breath. She's always done that. That's who she is. That's what she does.
That's his MO.
Yep. Highest. I don't want to give her too much flowers, but highest level sophist so far, other than maybe Rumpus, Zanuck, basically up there. Because you have to have endurance to be this fucking obtuse for this long. I mean, the endurance, man. It's unlike anything anybody. You guys think you're Globers that can stand in the argument? You wouldn't be able to do what she's done. I'm just saying. The ignorance is far beyond levels that you could comprehend. It's just wow. She's actually trying to construct an argument for the scientific method using fucking shapes, dude. That is insanity. Like fucking crazy. That's wild, bro.
Anybody else want to step up?
Who's banned Truth? He wants to chat skank from the sidelines. I mean, look, we bloody placated her. She was in a bloody category error, and even within a fucking category error, she used maths, which put her in another fucking category error. She's not doing bloody science here, so we tried to go through it with a hypothesis. The dependent variable was a fucking assumption of fucking Earth curvature, and then her her independent variable was height above that curved surface, invoking 8 inches per mile square, 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. So math then, not science. Geometry then, not science.
So not only once, but twice in 2 category errors. She invokes science, which it's not, and then invoke math, which you can't say that it's the same as science. Math is not science, so it's like it's a double whammy.
What is your profession?
See, old friend, I brought more soldiers than you did.